What to expect in 2025 and beyond. What to expect in the 9 year. What's the deal, family? Dreamwise here for another one. Yes, sir. This is an important topic because at the end of the day, the 2025 is fastly approaching, and we want to be prepared and ready to expect the shift, the change, the energy that we're about to walk into and be fully engaged in the moment, fully engaged and present in this specific time, because at the end of the day, you're going to be in it whether you like it or not. And it's here, baby, and we're here. And it's a beautiful time because, you know, it's about a certain ideology or a certain way of thinking that's moving the world. And I'm talking about the whole world. So remember, we're living in an illusion and everything is symbols. And these people that we're seeing in leadership positions are essentially speaking to us in a language that's going to usher in certain ideologies, certain movements, and certain behaviors. So we want to be prepared and ready to bask in this new way of thinking. Hey, buckle up. Let's take a ride. What's up, family? I see y'all in here. Hey, y'all in here early. Let's get it on. All right. So the 9 year, and obviously you see the 9 as a snake, right? I'm gonna get into that a little bit. But first, let me give y'all the understanding of the 9 years. So the 9 year is essentially a completion year, right? 9 just means completion. And in the completion cycle, we're talking about ending, doing something, moving out of an old paradigm, an old perspective, an old way of thinking, right? So after 9, you go into 10, but 10 ain't really a number. It's actually one. Zeros and one, which is the one, right? So one is just new beginnings, transformations, renewal, spirit, ushering into another perspective in mind, right? So 9 and 1 is slightly connected in the aspect of you're killing off something old to become something new. So you have to be prepared and ready for 2026, which is you being transformed, being renewed, being restored. Now, if you're stuck in a certain way of thinking and your ego will not let you move into the new shift, then you will be struggling in 2026. That's a fact, baby. You got to move with the energy. You are aligned with Sister Earth. So as we're in this specific dimension, the third dimension, we have to understand how the rules of the energy speaks to us, right? Especially as spiritual beings. See, a lot of people are stuck still in that Piscean age where they're looking for something outside of themselves or some kind of leader to move them in a specific mode of genius. Now that we're in this information age, it's up. It's time for you to find out your own information, move with your own way of thinking, and actually shift your perspective of the leader outside of yourself to the leader inside of yourself. And that's huge for the family to understand as we're coming into this new threshold. So 9 just means completion, right? The end. And as you can see, here go the 9 year cycle. As you see, 1, 2, 3, initiation, renew, develop, right? That's you ushering in a brand new state of being, right? Transforming yourself introspectively, and also your physiological language transforming, whether you like it or not. Build, grow, consolidate. That's in the 4, 5, 6. That's in the middle stages of this thing where you're actually building something based upon the energy of the day and the theme of the day. So I did a video a few years back where I spoke about the timelines, right? And these timelines you can see happen ever so often when, as you see the decades transform, right? So if you look at the 70s, it's had a certain theme. The 80s had a certain theme. The 90s had a certain theme, right? 2000s and so on and so forth. So what you want to be ready for and privy with, especially if you're going to get to the motion of 2025 and beyond, you want to just be privy and understanding of the energy, right? A lot of millionaires and billionaires become that just based off of them having the foresight to see where the world is going. So now, if you're not seeing past the veil and the illusion of this thing, right? And you're getting caught up in the emotionalism of whether it be a president, whether it be your boss at work, all of that stuff, none of that stuff matters. You have to look at how you can get better every day. How can I get better every day at something that's going to put me in a powerful position in the future? And that's very huge and important to shift your mindset from survival mode thinking to the growth mindset of you actually changing and shifting your energy every single day. Because again, it's not a action reaction thing, right? It's a long drawn out process where at the end you become that specific being that you're claiming to be. So now remove any kind of gumption of how I'm gonna eat today or whatever the fuck, right? That survival mode instinct, right? Because that's definitely the old paradigm. And you want to start thinking, especially with this 9-year coming up in this completion cycle, okay, who am I gonna be in for the next 9 years, right? And what's my outlook on that? And how is the world about to shift? Because essentially what's going to happen is if you don't get prepared and ready if you don't have a plan of action for yourself, then you can still be convoluted by not the mass media, which I'm going to get to, but these small independent media channels, right? i.e. YouTube, X, all of that stuff, that'll still program your mind to be subservient. So if you don't have no mission, I'm going to give y'all a ritual y'all can do now. It's called, or a ritual, a meditation y'all can do now. Everybody should do this round table meditation. Round table meditation. Essentially what you're doing is sitting at the round table with yourselves. You're going to sit at the round table with your ego self, your higher self, and you. Right? You're going to see this in your mind's eye. And all you're going to do is simply ask both sides, who do you want to become? And what does the future hold, right? So now, boom. Do that for a while, asking yourself the question, really just get to see your ego self and your higher self in two different lights. And essentially what's going to happen is going to start, both sides are going to start talking, right? And all you got to do is sit back and listen, be the middle point, and don't have no judgment about any of it, right? Because all of this, all that's simple meditation is going to lead you into this 9-year, which I'm going to explain a lot more and more because it's also the year of the snake. So alternative media is the new mainstream media. Alternative media is the new mainstream media. With that presidential election and all that stuff, hey, we see that nigga Trump basically won by going on Joe Rogan's podcast. Straight up. Now, he probably was going to win anyway, but that's definitely helped him a lot. You feel me? And then the mainstream news wasn't really had a big impact that everybody thought was going to happen, right? Because even me, I thought, oh, okay, well, the fix is in. Kamala got this. The mainstream media is telling everything is moving the narrative, right? But that wasn't the case this time, boy. If you just step back and seen it, you was like, oh, wait a minute. Hey, the people really voted. Whoever, and see, now let me play this video for y'all real quick, because this is important what Elon Musk and all of them people that are like independent thinkers and stuff are doing. This free think aspect is doing. Let me see. I have shared it on my TikTok. Hold on. Share screen. Let's see. Where is it at? Them boys is moving into a whole nother realm of this thing. Hold on. Here we go. Shout out to y'all, man. What's the deal? Peace to the gods. Peace to the gods. We in here, baby. All right. Y'all check this clip out.
News source on Earth.
Yeah.
On Earth. It's the most trusted because it's the only...
You know, there was...
the X is the #1 news source on Earth.
Yeah.
On Earth. It's the most trusted because it's the only one that's not fucked with.
Yep.
So even if someone's incorrect, the community notes will correct them.
Yep.
The community notes are rock solid. It's a great way to find out what's real and what's not real. And then you look in the comments and you see people debating it. And it's happening in real time. And it's happening whenever something breaks. And it's way better than what you're going to get on corporate controlled media. It's way better.
Elon Musk buying Twitter was at least as important as Trump winning
It's
election again, maybe more. Maybe the most important thing about Trump winning might be that he's able to stop them from coming after Elon Musk.
Well, that's a big factor. But I also think that Elon Musk buying Twitter, if that doesn't happen, I don't think Trump wins the way he wins.
Oh, 100%.
I think it's real tight. I think if he does win, it's barely. Okay, let's take podcasts out. He doesn't win at all.
You know, there was
the X is the #1 news source.
So yeah, that is Joe Rogan speaking on Elon buying XXX. So now obviously we've seen the alternative media shift the minds of the masses, or the minds of people that had enough, people that are sick of being tired, and shift their minds into a more, hey, think for yourself attitude, right? You make your own opinion and judgment. So Elon Musk buying Twitter, which is now called X, was a very important aspect in this thing, because X, they're going for theirs essentially in the comments, in the ideas. Is basically large forms of, or small forms of group thinks, right? Which I'm gonna get to in a minute. And that's important because at the same time, at the end of the day, that's telling you, right, that 5 o'clock news or that 6 o'clock news when you get home from work is not the main source of your knowledge or information now, right? Obviously, we've been in this kind of wave, us that know, right? We've been in this kind of wave for years. Let's say when YouTube started. When YouTube started? Oh, damn, YouTube is probably 15 years old now. No. Damn, when did I graduate from college? 2010, 2007. Damn, YouTube is probably, God damn. Say dog, YouTube is probably, YouTube is about 15, 17 years old now. Cool. So now the YouTubes of the world, the X's of the world, TikTok, right? All of this stuff is actually influencing people. And you can see it in the way that the celebrities are moving, or the celebrities that know what time it is are moving, right? Essentially what's happening is a lot of the celebrities are making their own podcasts, and they're making their own podcasts based off of them understanding that the new wave is in, the new fix is in, right? And this new fix is in is basically people gravitating towards one individual. So you can see Shannon Sharp with his podcast, Shaq got a podcast. Gilbert Arenas and them, Cameron and them. You feel me? Because now that alternative media, the Fox, the CNNs, the ESPNs, all of that stuff is not serving the people for truth and power, right? And this is the years of authentic energy. Authentic energy. So people can see past the WWF, WWE, WrestleMania agenda. People are not buying it no more, right? They're becoming more clever, more wise. I remember we used to play that Nintendo, that Super Nintendo, and that shit, Super Mario World. How the fuck? That shit used to take us 3 months to beat that bitch. God damn, how old was we? We must have been goddamn. What year was that? That was in the 90s. Super Nintendo. Sitting there trying to beat Bowser and shit that whole time. And it was just goddamn pixels. Small arcade pixels. Now you see these kids play Fortnite. I don't know what the fuck they doing. Or whatever, what's the Fortnite, Roblox, all of that stuff. When they building stuff on top of stuff. I'm like, what the hell is that? I would not know how to do none of that shit. They fingers is fast, nigga. We used to press one button and shit be hard. Damn, I gotta jump over this block. Chaos in the blood, baby. Now the time just completely shifted into we're not falling for that slow lies and agenda. People are getting smarter, people are getting wiser, and it's slowly but surely seeping in, right? Nobody's listening to the radio no more. That radio is dead. You feel me? Everybody has their own, like DSPs and all of that, the music and all of that stuff. Everybody's finding their own music and finding small talents that's not mainstream. So it doesn't matter if you mainstream or not. You feel me? If you're an artist, what really matters is, can you get people to listen to your song over and over and over again because it moves them in a particular way? And then slowly but surely, vicariously, they will jam the rest of your stuff based off of it being something that they're resonating with. You feel me? The frequency, the resonance of them hearing your voice over and over and over again is going to put them in like, oh yeah, I fuck with this person. You feel me? And nowadays, so now the artists, right? We can even look at that. The artists, they don't even need the corporate companies no more, right? They're moving into doing their own thing, independent artists and stuff like that, right? The underground scene, right? And now what you see is they're putting their music right on Instagram or Facebook, and they get into the bag that way. You feel me? So it's a beautiful time because we got to understand that this is what we've been looking for and what we've been wanting, right? No group think, right? Really, the group think mentality is out of there. Now it's about think tanks. There's a different group thinks is like a cloud, like the unconscious collective moving by one beat, one accord, right? And that unconscious collective cloud moves the world essentially, right? It doesn't move us because essentially we was already out of that sphere of consciousness with some of us, right? Some of us was already watching the game from the sidelines and just watching how things move. Even though we still had to abide by that unconscious collective cloud that was moving melanated people, white people in a particular way, whatever, right? Now it's more so about small individual groups, group thinks, think tanks that can shift into ideas and concepts that will move mountains for themselves. for themselves personally. So that's important. So this says the number of people listening to podcasts is expected to continue to grow, reaching over 110 million listeners by 2029. With over 5 million podcasts and 71 million podcast episodes in 2024, the industry is as massive as ever. The global market size could reach $131 billion by 2030. I mean, we're talking serious growth. So something you got to look at, right? Especially look, like even Donald Trump, you don't have necessarily a podcast, but he has a whole goddamn social media website, Truth Social, whatever the fuck it's called, right? See, when you seen him go get Robert Kennedy, you knew that there was something else happening in this thing, because Robert Kennedy be fucking with us. Shit, you might as well say that nigga is one of us. You feel me? So now you like, oh shit, wait a minute. Hold on, boy. What? Oh, you should have jumped immediately when you seen that. Oh shit, what? What happened? Damn, we got Robert Kennedy. Motherfucker that's conscious, that's about every individual person making their own decision, and about not being fed certain foods that could kill us off, that is killing us off quicker. You feel me? See, when you see Robert Kennedy and y'all just watch some of his interviews and stuff like that, he's against all that mainstream media stuff and all that narrative and all of that stuff. He's like us, right? So now Trump going to go get him is a big sign and symbol to say, oh, we here, baby. It's time. It's up. So now let's think about the podcast and these shows and how it's going to move. Essentially what's going to happen is, well, I'm going to get to that. Let me get to that. Let me show y'all this real quick, because this is important. And y'all can see it's Trump, Elon, Joe Rogan, and Robert Kennedy, Trump's kingmakers. He's in another time. So now this is the biggest sign that you will see in this thing. The year of the snake, the year of the wood snake, 2025, the year of the wood snake. Before I get to the year of the wood snake, I want to play this real quick because I thought this was important that Trump said as well. Let me see if I can find it, because I think this is actually real important for us to really pick up on how this world is about to shift, right? And move into a whole different perspective. So I've been sharing all of these clips, and these are just certain clues that we have to be privy with. You feel me? It says, this is something Elon Musk shared. In 1979, I created the Department of Education. Since then, America went from first to 24th in education. Chaos in the blood, baby. Hey, we went damn near going to the bottom like a motherfucker. Okay, well, listen to Trump here in this particular speech.
And one other thing I'll be doing very early in the administration is closing up the Department of Education in Washington, D.C., and sending all education and education work and needs back to the states. We want them to run the education of our children because they'll do a much better job of it.
Hold on, let me replay that for y'all so y'all can hear what he said.
Very early in the administration is closing up the Department of Education in Washington, D.C., and sending all education and education work and needs back to the states. We want them to run the education of our children because they'll do a much better job of it. You can't do worse. We spend more money per pupil by 3 times than any other nation, and yet we're absolutely at the bottom. We're one of the worst. So you can't do worse. We're going to end education coming out of Washington, D.C. We're going to close it up. all those buildings all over the place, and you have people that in many cases hate our children. We're going to send it all back to the states. Thank you very much. And one other thing I'll be doing.
That's important to understand what he just said. That nigga said, y'all programming machine is going to be based off of the states. Now, his real agenda is to have everybody just do their own thing with education, because he understands the power of private schools and things of that nature, right? Home schools, right? Because essentially what they're teaching our children in these schools is not serving them in the real world. So now you got to think about how deep this shit goes. You spend 12 years in schools. Now, I'm not talking about the math and just some of the general reading and stuff like that, right? But let's really think about it when we get to the crux of this thing, right? There's certain classes, especially when you get to high school and even middle school, that's not serving a motherfucking thing. And it's just rote learning. So that rote learning is training you to be a robot, right? And the real game and the real expression of life is to be able to think for yourself and have the ability to think instead of saying, I gotta find the answer. You can go into a space of saying, okay, let me try these things, you feel me, so I can actually grow into my own information, right? Because if everybody's in the same controlled idea, then there's no expression, there's no real truth, and there's no real life happening. What's happening is just a lot of robots running the same motion, right? Driving the same way to work, doing the same thing, thinking the same ways, and not really having their own freedom of mind. So in the private schools, what they do is they say, hey, instead of me giving you the excitement, which one do you want to do today? So they'll point to 5 different corners in the room and say, which one do you want to do today? And the kid will make a choice by himself to go in the direction of that. And if he doesn't like it, he'll say, yeah, teacher, I really didn't like that. Can I go try this? Okay, yeah, go try this. If you need any help, I'll be here as an assistant. Hello. To help you and give you the understanding. See, the real way to learning is to try different things. And the more you try, the more information you gain based off of you being in the work, being in the action, being in motion, right? You nigga went to school, got degrees and everything, had to learn more at the job, working at the job, than I would have learned in college. What the say college, hey, that when you really be honest with yourself and say, damn, what the fuck was that college thing? That shit was actually trash. Now look, let me play this for y'all real quick, because I think I got another video where Trump was talking about college too, which was important. Let me see. Yeah, I got another video, and this nigga switched ties, red and blue. The family was talking about him switching ties. It's a code. So we got to understand that to the core as well. Hold on. Here go him in the red tie. That's him in the blue tie. Here he go in the red tie. Let's see what
Tuition costs at colleges and universities have been exploding. And I mean absolutely exploding. While academics have been obsessed with indoctrinating America's youth, the time has come to reclaim our once great educational institutions from the radical left, and we will do that. Our secret weapon will be the college accreditation system. It's called accreditation for a reason. The accreditors are supposed to ensure that schools are not ripping off students and taxpayers, but they have failed totally. When I return to the White House, I will fire the radical left accreditors that have allowed our colleges to become dominated by Marxist maniacs and lunatics. We will then accept applications for new accreditors who will impose real standards on colleges once again and once and for all. These standards will include defending the American tradition and Western civilization, protecting free speech, eliminating wasteful administrative positions that drive up costs incredibly, removing all Marxist diversity, equity, and inclusion bureaucrats.
Hey, Donald Trump trying to do his big one in this bitch. That nigga saying, fuck it, I'm about to go for mine in this hoe. That shit, I got a few more lives left in this thing. I'm about to turn the... And, you know, it's right on time because the energy is speaking that, right? We're in the 9 year. It's the wood snake year, too. And I'm going to explain a lot about that in a minute. You got to think the only reason now to go to college, and I'm just being honest, if y'all are 18, 19, whatever, right? So even high schoolers right now, the only reason to go to college is to build a community. And the reason why you get to build a community is because you get proximity with a lot of, you know, people in one specific unit, right? You get to build friends, essentially, relationships. And relationships are heavy in this new world that we're going into. Because essentially, you're going to have to find a tribe, a group. I can hear Panic now turning in his grave, hear me say that, that would move a certain idea or a certain energy that you're residing with, right? And it's not necessarily about everybody thinking the same way. It's about the group actually having individuals, right? Which I'm gonna show y'all with this wood snake theory, that not cooperates, that's the wrong word, that actually gives ideas and thoughts into the tank, and everybody still be their own independent unit, but you have this kind of way of the world. Like I got it in my Patreon, right? We're a whole bunch of collective individuals that's building together so we can strategize on how to get better, to get stronger, and to get older, for a better word to say, right? So now we can bounce ideas off of each other and then take that back with us and then move into a space of power, right? I had the goddess Lindsay, white chick, yesterday, white, in our Patreon. She dropping gems, boy, on the sacred geometry, right? Sacred geometry and music and sound and stuff like that, and how it all works. Very powerful stuff, you feel me? So now all of a sudden, if I was prejudiced or whatever, and I felt some type of way about her skin color, I would be like, well, no, I ain't. But I could see her, I could see the goddess in her and the wisdom spewing from her so that she can deliver some powerful information to us that, yes, we might know some of it, but then there's a few gems and jewels that says, oh, okay, boom. It blows us out the water, and then now, okay, I got something new in my own sphere of consciousness. So that's important, family. And, you know, my 18-year-olds, my high schoolers, but the young kids, the YNs, 19, 20, if you're thinking about going to college, the only reason why you need to be going to college is to build a community. Get in the college, but get to the people. Start throwing parties, start doing whatever you have to do to build these relationships and find a tribe of like-minded individuals that can that will serve you down the road. You feel me? Because at the end of the day, that's the best college has to offer, baby. If you want to be a doctor, cool. You shoot that shot for what is it now? Another 8 years after you graduate 12. So you go ahead and take that road. Same thing with the lawyer, right? But I'm telling you, if you don't want to be any of them two and go for the long haul of college, which is 8 more years after you did that 12, then you're going to have to look at college as a strategic stage to build community, build people, right? Build relationships, basically brand building. That's all these people are doing now anyway. You feel me? So then the more you get into college and then you start building these relationships, say you're a rapper, right? You're going to college. You need to be working that college scene like a motherfucker. You got to start from the ground floor, building relationships, right? And get your face out there, essentially, be everywhere, right? And be that image and be that niggas fuck with. So now they going to listen to your music because that's my nigga. You feel me? So then that shit just grows and grows and grows. You feel me? Now, if you ain't talented, then that's another case. But I'm telling my brother-in-law that now. He goes to Sam Houston right now. He wants to be a rapper. You know, these young kids, right? He can rap though. He's good. Cool. I said, man, fuck the music. Nigga, get in that bitch and actually get to shaking hands, you feel me? And meeting people and building and growing with people, right? And creating a whole nother ecosphere of whatever his rap name is. So they could be jamming your shit in the car and shit, right? Even when I was in college, I was doing that shit. I slowly and surely did that shit by accident. I'm selling drugs, building relationships, right? Shaking hands, building relationships with all these people. Now, summertime, I moved to Dallas with my girlfriend. Guess what? Niggas still calling me. Hey, fo, where you at? You coming to Dallas or something? Okay, bet. You feel me? Yeah, I'm in the city. Hit me up. Still got it, right? So it's the same thing. Houston's the same thing. Same thing. Some of these niggas still think. Nah, they don't think that no more. Hope they don't, because I've been off of that shit. But you know what I'm saying? Houston was the same thing when I was in the mix. It's the same thing. Hey, niggas hitting me up, calling me, and they stayed 30 minutes away just because they familiar with me and they fuck with me and they can trust me, you feel me, to not bullshit them, right? It's the same thing you do with your barber. Your barber, you might have a mid barber. That motherfucker might be mid as hell, might be pushing your edge up back and everything. But you still fuck with him because y'all have a relationship. Y'all been cool since forever, whatever. You feel me? So now it's time to understand that this relationship thing is going to be heavy right now. It's going to be heavy in this new alternative media we're going into, because again, when you just look at the landscape of what's going on and how podcasts are taking over, right? Essentially what those podcasts are going to do is going to make subgroups, and there's a lot of people already doing these subgroup things, right? Where they have smaller independent podcasts based off of the main podcast that they're listening to. So it's like a chain of events. You feel me? So now all of a sudden that group or whatever is their basis of their energy and how they're moving in a specific day-to-day mode. But the beautiful thing about it is the influence by that group is running the people's narratives, right? And then that's how you have a world of basically chaos. That's in order though, right? Chaos into order. So that's what I read yesterday. This is the Luciferian Witchcraft, Michael W. Ford. I was reading this yesterday to the Patreon family, right? Don't be afraid. Hey, hey, I can see y'all now. See, you got to read what they doing. You feel me? I got this bitch highlighted like a motherfucker. You feel me? And the reason why you don't want to run from this shit is because this is where the information is at. They hide it in plain sight. You feel me? Y'all are taking everybody's opinions instead of doing the work yourself and saying, oh, okay, I see what that is now, right? If Lucifer is the light bringer, we've been hearing that over and over and over again, then why would you run from Lucifer? Why don't you say, okay, let me go ahead and understand why I'm programmed to believe that this idea is what it is. Okay, so this is Set, the Egyptian god of darkness, Set. Set, you know Set. It says Set is highly significant to the balance of chaos and order as he creates situations for both to occur. Okay, so you need the Donald Trump, right? That's going to set this thing on fire, the chaos, in order for it to come back into order. But it's going to come back into order in individual groups, if you will, thinking for themselves. It's going to still be an individual person thinking for themselves ultimately. But now, instead of the mainstream media giving you the agenda of the day, essentially these small group thinks, the Joe Rogans, the Shannon Sharps, or whatever, right? They're going to have a voice that then will lead to smaller groups having voices that will then lead to you individually making a choice for yourself. So instead of the narrative being, hey, it's this is how we're moving now, or whatever, what the mainstream media tried to do, right? Essentially what's going to happen is you're just going to have more and more people being smaller groups of what you'll say like militias, if you will, that will run the show for particular people, and they'll have their own independent process of thinking. It says Set and Horus indeed have a close connection as not only brothers but also deific opposites. It is suggested by E.A. Wallace Budge that Horus means something similar to he who is above, and Set, therefore, he who is below, thus holding a significant to as above, so below, and the Baphomet ideal, long regarded as a form of hidden knowledge. So if Set is below and Heru is above, then essentially what's going to happen is as above, so below, right, is basically the triangle pointing up, triangle pointing down, the 6, which is the heart chakra, right? Now, the year of the wooden snake, the year of the wood snake, 2025, right? That's coming up right now. Chinese astrology. Boom. Check this out. Chinese horoscope 2025, the year of the wood snake. The snake is the 6th animal. 6 is the heart chakra, triangle pointing up, triangle pointing down, right? In the heart chakra, the Merkaba. You feel me? Damn, Lindsay did a great job yesterday on that. Hey, y'all go check that out on Patreon, baby. She was dropping on that bitch. Sacred geometry and the anatomical. She called it some anatomical harmonics, some shit she called that bitch. She was dropping in that thing. Triangle pointing up, triangle pointing down. We know this, right? Boom, that's the 6. Masculine and feminine energies conjoining. Cool. As above, so below. As within, so without. So the snake is the sixth animal in the 12-year Chinese zodiac cycle, following the dragon and preceding the horse. Known for its enigmatic, intuitive, and wise nature, the snake embodies a unique blend of charm and mystery. People born in the year of the snake are often perceived as graceful, analytical, and insightful, with a deep-seated need for introspection and personal growth. Your Chinese zodiac is the snake. It is the snake if you were born in the year 2013, 2001, 98, blah, blah, blah. The snake is paired with the element of wood, creating the wood snake. Each element in the Chinese zodiac cycle adds specific traits to the zodiac animal it accompanies. Wood is associated with growth, creativity, flexibility, and compassion. Therefore, the wood snake is characterized by its resourcefulness, adaptability, and innovative thinking. So now that wood snake happened, the last time the wood snake happened was February 2nd, 1965, right? 1965 to 1966. So if you see right here, you can see the different elemental snakes, right? The fire snake, earth snake, gold snake, water snake, wood snake. The last time the wood snake was 1965, right? Now, 1965, in 1965, Malcolm X was assassinated, right? Now, in his assassination, because, you know, that was the whole Muslim group and all of that, right? The black Muslims and all of that stuff, right? In his assassination came the Black Panthers that same year. So in that Black Panther group, they was like, nah, we're about to do our own community thing. We're about to build community and do our thing for our children. Instead of letting the government provide for our children, we'll give them breakfast, nigga. We'll provide a certain level of education for them. Now, I'm not saying we're going to go that far and that deep, right? Like the Black Panthers did, but that was a powerful movement that them brothers did based off of them saying we taking back control of our communities. Just like Donald Trump is saying, he's eradicating all kind of governmental control over the education system, leaving it down to a state level. So now each state is going to have their own understanding of how education should be ran, right? But then in the grand scheme of things, as it keeps on trickling down, what's going to happen is you're going to see more and more people move into home schools. More and more private schools become powerful in its own nature, right? And then the public school reign is not going to be as heavy as it once was, based off of schools or states not providing particular funds, like, you know, like the government was doing to these specific schools. So then parents are going to pull their kids out, right, and put them in schools that do have the funding, or there might be a space where you have to pay a specific tuition for schools, right? And you can see this on every single level of this thing. It's just going to keep on going and going, just based off of, you know, you got to look at it from a grand scheme of things, like a whole big subconscious wave happening across the lexicon of the world, or just America. Let's stay with America, right? Essentially, what's going to happen is you're going to see it in your social media, your schools, your communities, right? There's going to be a large shift of smaller groups coming into the fold, right? And having these group thinks for themselves. And then the group thinks is going to just help each individual get on their own shit. So everybody should have a group think now, because that's really where it's at. You feel me? That's where you get down with the get down. So boom, the Black Panthers was the last time the Wood Snake was in, right? This is when they started that Black Panther movement, right? And they was just about community building for their own. You feel me? See, they wasn't a militia group in the form of like we're trying to run it up on the government or white people. They was just like, nah, we about to protect ours at any cost. And we're going to provide the particular information that our community needs that will serve them best. So if the Black Panthers are telling their kids that they're God, then oh happy day, that's what time it is, baby. You feel me? Them 5%ers, if they saying, hey, look, you're God, this is how we're moving, this is how we want to think, then that's the narrative and the way of the world that we're going into. See, it's not about Donald Trump. Fuck Donald Trump. That shit, that nigga does not matter. The way he's approaching this thing is, hey, everybody go for theirs and let's see who comes out on the top. So guess what, baby? That's huge because nobody can tell you how to move based off of you wanting to be in a certain race, creed, or social group that serves you better than the government would have ever did. So now 2025, the 9-year, going into 2026, which is the new year, which is the one, right? It's going to be heavy for you to understand how to start moving and thinking about this thing, either whether you want to create your own sort of group, right, on the social media streets, or if you want to fall in line with a particular group that's, you know, thinking on the same resonance as you, right? And it's not about being in the group mentality, but it's more so about having people that you can bounce ideas off of, and that will serve your idea and your growth for your own unique godhood, for your own sovereign right. Because just like in the Patreon, as we're building and talking, it's not like me being the leader of that group is it's all said and done. Like y'all gotta follow me or whatever the fuck, right? We're literally bouncing ideas off of each other to build ourselves up more and more and more. This ain't no nature boy shit. See, the information age is about applying pressure, work, right? Applying the work, trying shit, and then coming back to the group and saying, look, check out what I found out, baby. I got y'all. And then everybody be like, oh, everybody pitching in on that. And then guess what? Everybody becomes stronger and stronger and stronger, right? Better, better, and better. So if you're still in the thought process of survival mode, thinking that, you know, hey, I'm just trying to survive for the day, you need to remove that from your consciousness ASAP, right? And that's going to take some spiritual work. I'm not going to get into that, but that survival mode thinking is crippling you. You want to move into the space of, okay, how do I get better today? Because as I'm getting better today, as I'm getting stronger today, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, 2 years down the line, I can see myself in a particular light that I want to be, right? Now, the real true way to do that is to see yourself as that 5-year nigga now, right? But you do need particular, accountability partners, if you will. Because again, it is a tough road to hit it on your own and not have nobody saying, oh wow, I see you, baby, you're growing. Okay, baby, hey, you doing good. That's powerful, right? And to keep on pushing the light into you that shifts you into the monster that you're claiming to be. So now it's important that we understand that this is our time, man. This is our time heavy. And the more we get into this understanding of this wood snake, right, coming into the fold, the more we will be our own Kundalini snake shedding our own old self skin. The snake shedding his skin, you're shedding your old self, right? And understanding that cooperation and think tanks is not a bad thing. It's actually helping you become your own sovereign individual being. So what you're going to see in 2025 and beyond is people have tribes. You're going to see a lot of militias come into the fold. You're going to see like I'm saying, the think tanks come into the fold heavier, right? And this says, and you can see the wood element, it says traits, growth, creativity, cooperation. Cooperation is a big one. Flexibility. Wood year fosters a spirit of expansion and innovation. So now that's the whole Elon Musk and this, what's that new internet he's trying to do? That shit, you feel me? All of that shit is going to come into the fold, right? When you start seeing people building tribes and organizations and having their own small individual communities, that's where this thing is headed, right? That Web 3.0 is a great sign of how you know this thing is headed that way. Because essentially Web 3.0 is going to be everybody having their own, basically Instagram or Facebook, but it's like going to a URL. It's like going to a website. So now people on them particular websites, right, with the Web 3.0 is going to be in your world, in the technology thing. So then if everybody has their own individual group, right, then there's not a lot of outside influences that can penetrate that group based off of people going to their own source of information every day based off of their think tank that they want to reside with, align with. So now what you're going to have to look at and understand to the core is that old information based education system that was running the show is non-existent. That shit does not, all of that stuff is trash, right? You got to think, the world is speeding up. ChatGPT is coming into the fold heavier and heavier. The information is just out of control now. It's exploded. So where do we go from here? We're going to essentially go from fuck that ChatGPT information, right? Which is the Googles and all of that shit, to, okay, what do you think? What do you think? Right? What do you think? Or when I tried this is what happened. And that's going to usher in this new age of Aquarius, which is the information age, which is the information age is not about this online shit, which is people getting confused about. The information age is us individually trying shit. Like I told y'all at the beginning of this thing, you individually trying something and then coming back with the information or your findings and saying, hey, look, I need to offer this to the group. Let me tell y'all what happened to me. And that authentic energy is the real game and the real power, which is going to usher in 2025 and beyond. So, hey, baby, I'm excited for this shit, baby. It go down, baby. It go down. Information age unleashed. The information age unleashed. Think tanks encourages us to speak up with their unique perspectives, even if these insights go against the grain or challenge the group consensus. So even when you're in your group, you're gonna have a word, baby. See, they're already doing it in the chats with the X and stuff like that. You feel me? When everybody's putting in their own collective thoughts, right? Now you're gonna have a voice of your own that's independent of anybody else's and say, hey, this is what I think and this is how I feel. Cool. And then that stuff will form other beings to become uniquely divinely themselves based off of them smoking a little bag of that, smoking a little bag of this. You feel me? Oh, I could take a little bit of that. Thank you. Got it. Right? And then move into this new wave of independent thinking. You feel me? The focus will be on integrating personal wisdom with the collective intelligence, making the group's ideas more balanced. Think tanks is the new wave of the world. So the podcast, the big podcasts are going to end up falling smaller and smaller into smaller cohesive group or think tanks that moves individuals into their own God sovereignhood. Give me some questions, baby. Give me some questions. Yes, sir. And hey, look. Hey, some people was already on it. They already beat the game quickly, right? You see you see people building tribes and their own things, own networks and stuff like that. You know that they're in alignment with the energy. You feel me? So just understand that this 2025 is the ending of the old way of thinking, that old ideas and old belief systems that probably was holding you back, right? See, you know why all them Kamala people is mad? You just can see it because they didn't want the old world to end. They wanted to stay with their MTV and BET Plus and shit is the farthest they would ever go. You feel me? Say I can't make it up. Them motherfuckers was not trying to lose their 6 o'clock news. They want that. They need they CNN fix. They Fox News fix. You feel me? They need celebrities to tell them what to do. That shit is trash. That shit did not work whatsoever. Kamala was, she looked crazy, boy. Then when you see Cardi B make that speech, you know that's when the ushering of the end of an era is happening. Hold on, let me see if I can find that because y'all know that shit crazy, boy. I said, oh, she out here fooling people, tripping. That ain't even Cardi B. I said, that ain't even her. Why would she do that? Because she's an authentic person, you feel me? So now when she's doing this, you know she's trying to how would you say? She knows she got paid for a fact, right? Which I ain't mad at her shit. But you know, but now she looks so bad, goddamn. Oh shit. Listen, she didn't know what to say. She like, damn, hold on. You don't even know how to
Okay. So I don't take lightly the call. Sorry, guys, I'm a little nervous. Guys. I've been waiting for this moment my whole life.
Oh God, she said, I've been waiting for this moment my whole life. She should have, see, if she was real authentic, she would have been running with Trump. You just seen Kamala, the president, she just was going crazy over the education system in New York. That was just a year ago. What's she talking about?
I need patience over here. Are we ready to make history?
She didn't know what to say. She looked.
8 years. Thank you.
Oh my God, I ain't gonna even let y'all hear the reading part. She was just looking crazy in that bitch. So yeah, family, They said love, or they said authentic energy is 400 times more powerful than love. So now, as people get wiser and wiser and wiser, they're feeling more of the truth rather than a narrative, or rather than false fake news, right, by the mainstream societies and stuff like that. So as the world keeps on shifting more and more and more, we're going to keep on seeing, more people just have a voice, have an opinion. Like Donald Trump said, he said the freedom of speech thing is going to run supreme. If you don't like it, cool. It is what it is. Find the group that you resonate with and stay in that specific think tank, and then still build upon your own narratives and things of that nature, right? But all of this, we have to think of one certain way, right? That whole thing they pulled off in 9/11 with the spirit of America energy that they tried to pull off, right? Which they did. They pulled it off with the 9/11s, the towers coming down. Then they literally injected a worker spirit energy into the masses of the world to put you more in sleep before this 2000s energy came into the fold and this age of Aquarius thing started to really happen. But it didn't work, because now, as you can see, we're in 2024 now, and everything they wasn't expecting the rise of social media, Facebook, Instagram, X, Twitter, all of that stuff, YouTube. You feel me? They wasn't expecting it to hit like that, right? And now that it hit like that, now it's everybody's going for theirs and seeing their own or making their own way and narrative work for them. You feel me? So it's a beautiful time, baby. It's a beautiful time to be alive. Following a trend, and this was on PBS. Okay, Titus, tell me more about that. The podcasters have taken over media. People only listen to echo chambers and things that make them feel good. Yeah, that's right, Shanice. That's right. So they're moving into a more approach. Now, this is going to be the real game and the real power too, because you don't want to be stuck in a certain ideology, right? Like, you want to be able to think outside the box. So you don't want to be stuck in a particular group. You want to be able to move around and try to figure out different ways to think, or at least listen to other people's perspectives. You feel me? Because now, if you're able to listen to other people's perspectives, then you'll have, a more holistic understanding of how people are thinking about this thing. There is no goddamn God in the sky, and no one person is God. Everybody put on their pants the same way as you. So you got to understand that heavy in your heart, baby. I'm talking about real heavy. And with the 9-year being the wood snake year, right? That means Kundalini. That means God consciousness rising up to the Godhead to be in the knowledge, wisdom, understanding zone of this thing, right? To where you're receiving your intuitive channels and messages from a higher source, rather than you just receiving it from mainstream media, alternative media, right? You'll feel a resonance with the person speaking based off of them delivering a certain energy to you rather than the words. So a lot of people are still stuck in the paradox of facts. Ha! That fact thing is absolutely trash, baby. They were saying it was a fact that you needed to take that jab and dab and do. What? Oh, you need to take it. And look at us now. Over how many people ain't taking it. None of them transitioned. Absolutely. We should have been all gone if that was the case. You feel me? This says the head of Ramses II has been shown being duly crowned by both Set and Horus, indicating power and knowledge. That's the snake too, by the way. Once reference of which Set makes comments is in the crowning. I will give thee all life and strength and health. Thus, although considered often a devil and a most feared god, this power can be used in a positive aspect as well. So some of the stuff that we're fearing, or that we been programmed to fear, is just actually goddamn chlorine. You feel me? So it's a chemical mixture, right? That can cause harm, but it also can cause good as well. You feel me? So you're looking at it from a perspective of bad, instead of looking at it like, hey, you got to tear stuff down to build something up. So now, right? So now, whenever y'all get ready to throw away all them old clothes in your closet that doesn't serve you no more, guess what? That's when all the new clothes is going to come in and make way of your new being that you're going to be. You feel me? So that's going to be heavy in the aspect of you understanding, hey, throw all of that stuff out and get into a new way of thinking. You feel me? Because that's where it's at. Like, this book is off the chain, baby. Hey, and I'm going to probably read a lot of this, all my highlighted stuff in the Patreon, because I got some shit in here, boy. I got some it says his primary associations were hostility, war, and storms. Thus, Set may be viewed as deific force of motion and opposition. 8 is recent years has been a number significant to chaos, being the 8-pointed chaos star and the Algol sigil, the sabbatic star, etc. I just had all of this highlighted. Absolutely off the chain. So remember, the snake is good because the snake is going to kill off something. The snake is shedding the skin, and the snake is essentially going to bring you into a new based off of you clearing out old passageways, old selves that's not serving you no more. Y'all watching the show From, right? They talking about the Caliph off like a motherfucker in that bitch. Now that we see this last episode and how far they really trying to go with this stuff in the shadow aspect of it, right? And just saying, oh, in order for y'all to get home, you're going to have to go through this shadow work. Heavy. And then you'll be able to transform or transcend this place. So yeah, that From is definitely a different thing that that I will decode when it ends. Let me see what y'all got. Y'all got questions. Also, what do you think the symbolism is going from wood dragon to wood snake? Yeah, that's what I was just talking about, Titus. We're going into a space of communing with people, not being afraid of smaller groups and smaller bonds, if you will, right? And being able to build off of each other and off of each other's own individual right as a guide to think for themselves. You feel me? So what we do in the Patreon, Titus, is what's going to happen. You feel me? Because essentially now is going to be a time for people to look into how, right, to receive, how they're going to receive their information, or how they're going to see their light, their wisdom. And the way you're going to do that is by just doing your work and then coming back and saying, hey, look at what I found. You feel me? All that celebrity culture and shit like that shit is dead. Right? Nobody don't give a fuck about these celebrities no more. That shit is over with. So now you just want to look at the aspect of you're the celebrity now. And you being the celebrity is going to be in small group think tanks where y'all can build and grow with each other. You feel me? And nobody has no real ego about it, right? In the form of celebrity worshiping, but it still will be a space of like individuality. That's where you see all these what's the stream Kai Cenat is on, that shit, whatever he's on, that stream. They got another stream called Kick. So it's been ushering in with all these alternative social media video channeling things, right? But now what's happening is that old self is completely going to be eradicated in this 9 year, especially how Trump is moving. And then you're going to see people moving into more educational systems online. So kids might be even working online at home based off of them being homeschooled, right? But the parents got together and said, hey, look, we're just going to homeschool. We'll do this together, right? You take Monday, I take Tuesday, you take Wednesday, you take Thursday, you take Friday, whatever, right? And then next week, let's just have a field trip to the park or the museum. You feel me? And that's how we'll teach our kids. You feel me? What are you good at? You're good at math? Okay. You get them saying, yeah, I got this time to this time. So as we're slowly and surely moving into that time where it's going to be real prevalent in 2026 and beyond, now is the time to just adjust to the energy of this new wave of thinking, this new way of thinking, and just shift into that consciousness completely instead of holding on to the old way of thinking and thinking that these celebrities or this mainstream media is going to give you the word of the day. Yes, sir, family. Yes, sir, man. I love and appreciate y'all. Hey, appreciate that rising vibes. Appreciate that rising vibes. Yeah, Patreon Family Book Club tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Central Time. We're gonna dive deep into the fold. I love and appreciate y'all. Y'all know what it is. Peace to the gods.